Well, time for a second best of 3. We got a Terran this time. It's going to be a TVP, TY versus MyuNgSiK. TY in Pro League, very well known for his TVP prowess, especially in round 1, which was a long time ago now, almost a year ago. I guess about 9 months ago.
Yeah, wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. 2014 has been a long, great year of StarCraft. We've just had so much of it, and it's been a really fun year. A lot of news stories, and a lot of new developing players, TY being one of them. Beating some top players we saw there.
Symbol and Turn, Sky High as well.
Yeah.
All recognizable names.
Symbol the most recognizable. So notice a big new sponsor here for Prime and KTC. So that's pretty cool for them, as well as the pickup of MyuNgSiK, who was able to beat Innovation in the round of 4. Pretty impressive. Innovation having a lot on his mind, of course, focusing for Code S might have been part of the reason for that. He beat Hydra as well. Sad story.
Those are some pretty big names there from MyuNgSiK to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like MyuNgSiK is definitely a player that's underrated, and I feel like a lot of people saw him on Prime, and they were thinking they just took him less seriously as a result. Right after he was picked on Prime, they're like, oh, well, MyuNgSiK, I just can't take him seriously now he's on Prime. I don't know, but
yeah, players don't just like automatically get worse when they go to different teams. You know, it just like doesn't happen.
It takes about 6 months. I'm just kidding. But I mean, there would never be a Korean player or 2 or 5 or 8 of players that traveled overseas, joined a new team, a foreign team. You know, they wanted to travel, they want to see the world. You know, they get a good salary, come back to Korea, maybe not do so well. We're going to see what happens out of the region lock. That would never happen. It may be that it would never be the case that some Korean players would travel overseas and do really well in other regions, and then people think they're actually the best in the world, and they come back and then can't qualify for Code A. That would never happen in the future. Coming up next year, I don't know. But anyways, MyuNgSiK, still good, beat some really good players, and I'm happy for Prime. One of the sickest pickups yet, rivaling almost Innovation's pickup for SK2, man. They needed a player like this.
Yeah, they actually really did. That's the best word to use, that they needed this player in MyuNgSiK. So, very big pickup. The first map here is Overgrowth between TY and MyuNgSiK.
That it is. TY, definitely the favorite here, but let's see if MyuNgSiK could take some sets, maybe take the series and pull off an upset.
Down here in the bottom left, in the red, the Terran player, it is TY.
And up to the top right in blue, it's MyuNgSiK Prime.
Ooh.
Long ID there, but I like it. So, MyuNgSiK is the name and the ID of this Protoss player, as is TY is the initials for his name, so that's kind of a funny thing we've got here. So we talked about how it's a good pickup for Prime for MyuNgSiK, but this is about himself personally. You know, in this tournament, though, this is not about Prime, although we do have Gerard down here in the studio, as well as Barbie down to support, of course, and I want to say another Prime player was here. I can't remember who it was down here to support with them. But
yeah, I think I saw someone else, but I can't recall.
There definitely was somebody. I just can't remember off the top of my head right now.
Interesting placement on the barracks here.
Yeah.
If he wants, I mean, he could float it and then get it a little bit closer, but that's not close. Like, there's not really that much. It's not that much closer is what I'm trying to say.
It's a mock Arax because it's Arax that's placed, designed to fool his opponent. When the probe comes in here, he might think, oh, what is this? Is this a scout or what is going on? And then he's going to see no CC and no barracks maybe at the top of the map. He might be thinking, oh, is he proxying me? Is he doing a 2 barracks? He must be doing a 2 barracks proxy. Then he sends another probe. And then you get ahead because he sent 2 probes when he really didn't need to. So let's see how much he checks here. I don't think he'll actually check the whole base.
Well,
if he's really careful, he might.
He only checks the mirror line for now, and he's just moving around in there. He's not going to the top left.
Second probe comes out to check for proxies.
There it is. He's actually trying to stop this one.
He could fake bunker now. He's going to fake bunker. This is really super mind games right now. And he misclicks. He clicks on the bunker.
And now he's pulling probes. SCV is trying to micro here, trying to fake that he's going for a proxy.
Notice he sends a probe down because he's like, I think this is totally fake. I don't even believe you anymore.
Well, he still believes him. I mean, well,
he's got the Zealot now.
Yeah.
You have to be careful until the Zealot's out at least, though. Okay, now the probe's like, you're pulling my leg, and somewhere Maka Prime at home is sitting on his couch eating popcorn, long retired, but still saying, they still use my strat. Maybe it was better in the main base than behind the mineral line at the natural, but...
Well, it certainly was in this game.
I mean, this is like 2010-esque stuff we're talking about right now.
Yeah, he totally pulled MyuNgSiK's leg there, totally fooled him, and it's really annoying. It doesn't get too much. It doesn't get TY too much stuff here, but it does. It gives him a little bit. It takes the probes off the mineral line here, forces the Zealot to be made.
The only thing that TY loses is a little bit of production time while he's lifting right now to move next to his other barracks. Which I guess he didn't technically have to do, but the reason why he does is because it shortens his reinforcement potential if that barracks is that far away. So it's better to just move it over here to lose a short-term amount of Marine production to have the long-term a much closer rally for his barracks to the natural, even to be safe against follow-up attacks or anything that comes his way. And for that first move out that he's going to want to do here pretty shortly.
Now, SCV moving towards that third base location. He's saving up some of these minerals here. Is he actually just going to throw down at third base? Maybe he's just scouting over here for some pylons. Wants to make sure no pylons go unscouted. Pretty safe play.
Yeah. Quick robo here. I think it's just going to be observer coming out, do a quick scout, and just try to identify how TY is playing this, how fast his medevacs come out, for example, when he moves out. Just get an extra vision for a really cheap amount of gas.
Yeah. Really good scouting here by TY. He actually scouts the whole right side, outside of that fourth base location. He even scouts behind the gold minerals there.
Yeah, he's checking for warp prism right here. He's like, are you sending a warp prism across? Are you sending, are you scouting with the mothership core? Are you sending an oracle? It's probably going to pass by right here if you are. Knows the timing window for that, sees that there's nothing there, is going to come in here to see the Nexus, and also seeing the sentry is a pretty good sign that there's a robo up there. No issues with oracles. Notice the second he sees that sentry, doesn't even have to see the robo. He sees the sentry and he's like, oh, I guess he saw the bay, but he sees the sentry and he's like, okay, I definitely don't need my Marines in my main base. That is for sure. It's time to move out there and force that Nexus cannon.
Immediately pulls. He's moving across the map now, putting down that factory. Wants to go up to Starport, of course. Wants to get out those medevacs for the later game here. Do see MyuNgSiK has a probe actually on that watchtower. We'll see this push coming across. Even the observer sees it now.
It's totally revealed.
Yeah, he should be really ready here.
He really knows about it.
He's really super ready.
It has been detected even. So this is a combat shields rush. This is also very 2010-esque to do this type of push.
TY watching some old replays, decides he wants to use it here. WECG.
But you get a lot more tankiness in your Marines against the Nexus cannon and everything else when you do this. So, especially when you have such a low count of sentries, those force fields here work with the Zealots, and he knows he's got one more he could drop on the ramp if need be, if those units really continue to persist here. And I don't think this really worked out the way TY wanted, because he didn't get a lot of probe kills. He was losing his entire army, and that's really scary considering that there's about to be a Colossus popping out here in just a few seconds.
Yeah, really not going the way he wants here. We do see 2 sentries go down, but that entire Terran force goes down. It's just not a great trade for him.
He's got a follow-up of Marines that all have combat shields, but they don't have stim, so that's something else to consider. They're just a little bit slower, and if you have slow Marines, even with combat shields, you don't want to fight Colossi, because you're just not going to be able to stim and target it down. He's just going to be able to right-click it back and kite you, basically. Mm-hmm. So.
And look at this. MyuNgSiK already moving out on the map. He knows exactly what that push was, and he's like, oh, I can punish this. And that's exactly what he's trying to go for. We do see 1 bunker here. I feel like it probably will be enough. We do have the stim coming out eventually as well.
I don't think he's even going to attack. He's got 2 forges, or no, Forge and Twilight Council coming up now, but he wants to scare him to making extra bunkers. Right now, for example, TY doesn't know if there's a second Colossus walking across the map. There very well could be, for all he knows. He could have a bunch of gateways added right now with a bunch of stalkers warping in. He has no idea. So he has to make these bunkers. He has to sit back. He has to pull SCBs even. He doesn't want to get force fielded over there. Now he's checking. Now he's like, all right, is this for real or what?
This is MyuNgSiK just giving TY a little taste of his own medicine here.
Oh.
Scaring him a bit here. Medevacs come out. The entire army does scout that, but there's not much back here at the base from MyuNgSiK. He does have one Colossi now. One Colossus, I guess, and he will be able to warp in anything back there.
Yeah, he just recalled, which is a lot of medevac, or rather a lot of mothership core energy spent. Oops, fake probes. I mean, I guess it could help.
Maybe just a scout.
I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think it was a misclick, though. I would have kept that in the mineral line, though, because maybe the harassment kills fake probes instead of real ones.
Yeah, it could be something.
He gets almost no damage done here.
That's like some 2016 drop defense here. Another drop coming in the main base, trying to snipe a pylon out here, but not quite able to. They're just having a hallucinated probe party over there.
Back in the beta, I remember once, hold that thought, this drop continues. Yeah. I was playing a PvP on one of those smaller maps, maybe it was Steps of War. It was we were both maxed out, we both turtled, we had cannons all over the map and stuff, because I mean, I didn't know what I was doing back then. Nobody did. It was like my first 2 months of the beta or something. I remember a guy sends a ton of hallucinator probes, like 20 across the map. I thought they were real. I moved out of position because I'm like, oh sick, I'm going to swipe all these probes with my Colossi, and he kills me because he gets out of position.
That's a really embarrassing story, Wolf. From
it just reminds,
the long old days of
I see hallucinated probes, man, I get the chills, you know.
Just a bit traumatized.
I talk to my therapist about it a lot, but I think I need another session. Okay, so the place we're in right now in this game is pretty even. Obviously, you could see a huge discrepancy in army supply, but that's partially because MyuNgSiK has invested so much into this tech. The Blink, the Storm, he's got the upgrades coming out, about to be at 1-1. He's getting extra cannons. He's playing super safe. He hasn't even made a third base yet. TY takes his base first, and it's going to be pretty easy for him to hold on to that. But he needs to do damage, because if he just sits back and lets the Protoss get Storm and Colossi and build up that death ball, the late game is so difficult. Although we have seen players making great strides, actually, to beating that late game Protoss army. We've seen a lot of success out of a lot of good players. Yeah. Like Polt, for example, is one of my favorites for this matchup.
Flash as well.
Yeah, Flash.
He had a match there in the Kespa Cup, actually. I forget who the Protoss was, but he just took one Protoss late like a bunch of times. He's like, yeah, I can play against you late. No problem. Well, more observers being made. I think 2 were sniped so far in this game.
Yeah, he's really quite cautious about that.
3 observers going down here.
Now with the teammate of Creator, got to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah. Bunch of Zealots being warped in here, and they're going towards that third base. Big defense going to the third base, but there's not much in the main base.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of cannons.
He's got High Templar. These medevacs do have a lot of energy, actually.
Oh! Immediately 2 go down.
Yeah, those medevacs have been sitting idle for a really long time. He hasn't really been able to stim or engage anything at all, so that was rough there. Punch of Gateways just finished up here.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, there's not much there in the main base. Just 2 medevacs get immediately sniped. I'm like, oh.
That hurts. Look at the supply now. He lost his only advantage, which was his massive amount of bio units that he could use to drop and harass. Now he still has a decent amount of them, but not enough to really pull MyuNgSiK apart. Not enough to cause him to make mistakes with his multitasking. He's going to see this drop squad coming across here again. I think that's a Warp Prism that saw that. I'm not sure, but based on the footprint, I think that's what that was.
Observer also saw it, so should be totally fine. Just the Warp Prism there for the extra scouting, I guess. MyuNgSiK playing very, very safe in this game.
Yeah, he even saves the Warp Prism. It's a pretty impressive feat. I don't think so, man. This is not happening. I'm actually really surprised he runs away with those units. Maybe he was expecting another drop to come towards the main, but regardless, this drop is going to do very little, and there's no follow-up drop or ground units to attack the third base, so this is not really doing a whole lot. I mean, he trades against Zealots. Okay, there is another group of drops.
Yeah,
okay.
They're there, but they weren't really doing anything the entire time this drop was going on.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't realize there was another group. Everything makes more sense now to me.
Yeah. Tries to drop here in the natural. Not going to happen, really. More units here at the third. And now these medevacs are trapped, actually. What are they going to do?
TY is overdropping. There becomes a point in this matchup where if you keep doing this, you lose too much. But hold that thought. Wolf wrong again. And in the main base here and actually getting some great trades with these Widow Mines. Is not going to escape with most of his units, though.
Yeah, I don't know how wrong you were. I mean, this drop isn't doing too much damage. He does have to fight with those other Zealots, though.
Yeah, they're just sitting, chilling, because he's paying attention over here. I mean, TY is trying to run a school on multitasking. I just don't know if that's necessary right now. Look at the supplies. You know, you drop, you just keep dropping, you overdrop, and then suddenly you don't have enough units to do anything. You keep dropping, and suddenly your drop looks like a paper airplane on fire crashing into the base. Doesn't look like a very scary thing at all. I mean, this observer still sees this. And he's got plenty of Zealots here. Zealots like, yeah, just drop into the shark's mouth, man. He's jumping into the jaws of MyuNgSiK.
That's essentially what he's doing here. I mean, he does have a lot of units here and a bunch of medevacs, but still, it's not enough. He has to pick up and drop away. He will be able to cancel this Nexus, though. That is something. Yeah, in fact, there's no cancel. A bit of a slow reaction there. MyuNgSiK doesn't have a lot of stalkers, so he's really struggling to blink, you know, and chase. Now you see he scans this. He's like, no stalkers? Uh-oh. Gonna take you a while to walk back up into here. But there they come. He's thinking about it. Oh, oops. Oh.
Those probes are stop position.
Could be a while before he even notices that as well.
Yeah.
He's trying to take a pretty fast fourth base here, especially compared to what TY's got going on. He does have that that command center being made, but besides that, it has not been dropped.
This observer is just camping those medevacs. He's totally ready for that move out. It's a big group of medevacs. He's even making a starport. I don't think we're going to see Tempest. I think we might just see some Phoenixes for drop defense. Dodging that Widow Mine like a boss. These Zealots are coming in here. And this Warp Prism gets shut down.
Yeah, immediately shut down. Vikings popping out of the starport as it's happening.
He actually needed to land those to finish the Zealot off.
Yeah. TY now trying to take the gold here. And something on this map, you know, you got a lot of Colossi behind that gold. It's going to be hard to mine from there, as long as the Protoss has good positioning. But again, if you put those Colossi back there, you need to have your Stalkers in position as well to stop the Vikings from getting some good shots.
A bit of timidness from both players. A great storm there. So much zoning potential with that one. Cloak is on the way for these Ghosts. And he's considering doing another big drop in the main. Actually looks like he just wants to regroup with those units. 4 Ghosts versus 9 High Templar. Going to be hard to snipe or EMP all of those. Yeah. We're going to see storms left and right when the next battle happens. He's got nearly 20 storms you can rely on, if not 20, now that he warped in even more High Templar.
It's pretty crazy how many High Templar he has. He just finished +3 armor as well. The +3 for attack for TY is not yet done. It's still on the way. So, you know, a favorable engagement can be taken by MyuNgSiK right now if he wants to fight, you know, before a lot of these goals come out with that cloak. But for now, he's just defending at the 4th, taking it later and later.
Yeah. Let's see how the engagements go, because this game has come to a place where both players have a solid economy, and this game may just simply be decided by engagements. Speaking of engagements, Stalkers come in, a lot of confidence here on the movements of MyuNgSiK. Need to be careful, though, because I don't want those Colossi where the Vikings can get over that little water area.
Big EMPs and snipes on 3 of those High Templar.
And did he lost all of his observers, it looks like, and Ghost Cloaking is almost done. That's going to give him a little bit more damage potential. Huge warp in here, does not get canceled by those Vikings, just barely finishes. And he's just going to go in here and fight anything he finds, including Tech Labs. I don't think his Protoss army is big enough, and those EMPs hit solid. He needs to be very careful. In fact, I think TY could even potentially, if he gets to the top of this ramp, take a more aggressive stance. Looks like he wants to go for the 3rd base instead. Protoss army a bit out of position. This cannon's going to buy some time. He keeps scanning and wants to find out where that Protoss army is. It's coming behind for the sandwich. And he needs to get into a better position.
Just trying to get the concave here. Vikings pushing forward as well. Ghost for now are cloaked. Big EMPs on the entire army right now. Storms from the back, though, do hit a considerable amount of bio as well.
Gets all those Colossi down, though. And here come those observers. He scans, eliminates them. So the Ghosts are doing some extra damage here, but this bio force, is it enough? It may very well be. There's no more Zealots. There they come.
Finally, the Zealots push through here, and the Archon is going to do a lot of damage to these bunch-up Marines.
Yep. If you look at the army supply at the top of the screen, you might be confused by this. It's just simply because most of that army supply is in these medevacs. They're not going to be useful if nothing is underneath them. That High Templar is just chilling over there on the right side. Could actually probably drop a storm. Nope, not quite. It must have been EMP'd from earlier.
Yeah, looks like it.
Now that overwhelming bio is starting to catch up with these medevacs, and this base is very exposed. He has no Colossi.
Nuke coming down here.
He's got 2 nukes, actually. He could queue a second one. In fact, he may already have. Oh, he doesn't even know. Okay, kills the Ghost, though.
Yeah, kills the Ghost, but he spends a lot of his units here just dying to bio
just
to stop the 1 nuke, and now this base is definitely going down. There's nothing
here. He
here.
doesn't have enough. It's just this Terran army starts to get too much momentum. He's just dropping storms with all of his High Templar, but there's nothing underneath the storms. There's nothing to finish these units off. That Archon is tanking some damage. Well, these Vikings are going to have an easy time with these Colossi. All he has to do is just run away from the Thermal Lance, kill the Colossus, and then come in to finish everything off with the heavily upgraded bio with so many medevacs to support. 4 medevacs at the time coming out right now as well because he knows he doesn't need any more Vikings. And that is going to be lights out here, it looks like, in game number 1. MyuNgSiK taking an early lead through the mid-game, but TY finishing strong. Just continuing to pressure, taking the better engagements. Like I was saying, I said, let's wait and see how the engagements go because you land a few EMPs, game ends. Those EMPs and the snipes on the High Templar were critical.
Yeah, just the army control out of TY was just way better here in the late game. TY really putting the hammer down on MyuNgSiK in this game, number 1. MyuNgSiK still not GGing out of the game. He's down over 100 supply here, really taking this one a bit harshly.
Yeah. Well, I think he looks at the Bioforces, any Protoss would, GG. You play this on the ladder and you're like, God, he's really just got basically only medevacs. If I could just get 1 Storm and 1 Warp of like 9 Zealots and kill this and hold on. And I think he just kept telling himself that, but eventually he had to tell himself he's on like 6 bases now. He's got like a 6 base floating, and I'm on 3.
Yeah. Well, again, TY looking pretty solid here.
And MyuNgSiK definitely having a fun time with that drop defense. I have to say, he definitely slapped those medevacs down. He made the drops look like a bad idea. But eventually, if you drop enough and get the bases up, and MyuNgSiK's not able to harass you because you've got great Viking coverage against all of his Warp Prism harass, you get to a point where it's all about the max out engagement. And if you hit those EMPs and you've got a great Viking Ghost ratio, TY had built a great composition. He had the Viking count he needed to deal with a small amount of Colossi, only 3 Colossi to deal with, and the EMPs were solid. He also consistently sniped the observers, making his Ghosts a lot more useful in those fights.
Yeah. I feel like as long as TY plays this game once again, just forcing MyuNgSiK to be all over the map with his multitasking, I feel like he should be able to take this one.
All right, guys, we're going into Foxtrot Labs here for game number 2.
Down here in the bottom left, in the red, the Terran player who's up 1-0, it's TY.
No commentator would ever refer to him as Ty.
Never. Especially not one that we've casted before.
And there's MyuNgSiK, the biggest bubblegum chewer we've ever had in Korea. The phrase to kick ass and chew bubblegum, but he's all to gum never really applies to him.
Yeah, he's kind of the opposite.
He always puts a new stick of gum into his mouth after every set.
You got to start fresh, man.
Yeah.
That old piece of gum, that's a losing piece of gum. You need a winning piece of gum. Maybe this one will be the winning piece of gum.
I was never really a gum chewer. What about you?
I had like a phase when I was younger when I really liked to chew bubble gum. But,
yeah, me too, for like a year.
Yeah.
Cotton candy, bubble yum.
Yeah,
that was the one.
Exactly. But then I like how we both know the exact right kind. Like
that was
exact
the only
same kind. The only kind that you chew is that one, the bubble yum, cotton candy. But besides that, I just never really did. Not that 5 gum that came out? I chewed that for a little bit.
Yeah, me too. In high school.
Yeah.
I got the spearmint flavor.
Is that the blue one? I just got the blue one.
I got the green one mostly, but I did get the blue one a few times. It was really about the color to me, not as much as the taste,
Well, I like
that marketing worked on me, man. I don't know.
Sometimes you just need a good design and some good advertising.
Right.
Can make your product sell.
Well, we're going to see the Scout here on the Reaper expand. There was always that guy, though, or girl, that would just refuse to eat gum. Like, You know what I'm talking about? Like somebody's like, I got a stick of gum, or like one of those big packs that they used to sell, like that had 16 sticks in it. And your friend is like, yay, everybody take a stick of gum. I got the 16 pack. And then the friend is just like, no. He's like, oh, come on, I gotta do this. It's like, nah, I don't chew gum. No, why not?
Really?
I don't really.
I
always
had a
like,
friend like that.
Every time somebody handed out gum, there was that one guy who was just like, I don't really chew gum.
No, I had like the friends who would know that you bought gum, and they'd be like, hey, can I have a piece of gum? Hey, can I have a piece of gum? Like every hour, and you're like, dude, buy your own pack of gum. This is my gum. Like I'm more than willing to hand out like 1 or maybe even 2 pieces, but when you get to like the 4th and 5th, I'm like, come on already. Like buy your own pack of gum.
Ooh, eBay blocking it. Styling.
Styling, flexing.
I mean, he's like eBay blocking with a probe there.
Does not care about anything.
He's going to lose that SCV. Actually, the Stalker misrallied. I think he should still kill it, but if he wants to kill it, then he's going to have to... Okay.
Yeah, you got it. He's going to have to kill it.
I was going to say he's going to have to chase it, which means his eBay block is going to last a little bit longer.
Yeah. Do see a bit of a fast Stargate here at like before the Nexus even comes down here. Just wants to get that tech out even before the Nexus comes out. It's going to be a pretty fast Oracle here. That's what I'd expect.
Yeah, I think it's partially due to the fact that he was blocked. He's like, well, I guess I go tech instead because you know, if he wants to get the Nexus, if he wants to get the Nexus up and not do tech, and he just gets behind in both regards. It's kind of like when your hatchery gets blocked and you make a spawning pool because you're like, well, I mean, I would love to have the hatch first, but since I can't, I need to spend my money on something else. I need to advance myself in some other way. In this case, ends up being the Stargate with the Oracle coming out.
Yeah. And back at TY's base, he's just made a bunker just to be safe at the front, but so far, no Marines in the mineral lines.
Yeah, he made a fast eBay, and he's going for that combat shields rush again. That's really interesting. We've seen this now twice in a row. I'm actually excited to see if this really becomes kind of a build that TY wants to use going forward here. If he wins this series, he'll play another TVP. So,
yeah. Reaper taking a bunch of damage, not quite able to kill that probe.
So doesn't know about this Oracle. It's swinging around. No turrets, and only 7 Marines. So they're obviously not going to have an easy time defending this. Oh my God, a second Stargate.
What is going on with MyuNgSiK? This definitely is MyuNgSiK in the booth. He's going to get 1 mule here, and it looks like another SCV kill, and now he's going to the main base.
Yep, he's going to kill quite a few of these SCVs. I think 6 kills.
6 kills, keeps it alive.
Second Stargate for Phoenix is clearly here. MyuNgSiK famous for this. If you get a lot of Phoenixes out in the mid game, like really early, and your opponent's kind of Marine light, you can do a lot of damage. You can actually pick up Marines and kill SCVs if he wants to rely on Marines alone to defend. Especially if, for example, these Marines move out here, you kill all of them with the defense on the Nexus cannon. It's going to be tough, though, because he's got, like, no units. He has, I think, a Stalker, an Oracle, and those Phoenixes, and the Mothership Core.
I'm pretty sure that's it, yeah. Never made any Zealot, has no sentries back at home, spent a lot of gas on all this tech.
Okay, 2 Stalkers.
2 Stalkers. That is the count here. He does make 1 sentry here with the warp in.
Oh, he's actually misrallied his probes again.
Why does he keep doing this? This is really strange.
I think it's nerves.
Yeah. There he goes. He fixes it after the observer does shake the screen and show him.
Well, MyuNgSiK known for his Phoenix play. We haven't really seen him do 2 Stargate Phoenix like this in this matchup. His teammate, former teammate, I should say, Stats, known for doing Stargate play like this, but still not even quite executed this way. Oh, that hurts. Took an Oracle shower there. All those Marines feeling fresh.
Just flies it directly towards his opponent's base, you know, right where the enemy units of TY are, so
just
not the best path there.
Bad luck, you know. I mean, not the best path to choose, arguably, but still. Just not a quick reaction to save it.
We got a big follow-up push here. Mothership Core does not have enough energy here for a Nexus cannon. There are just no units here. There are only Phoenixes here. There are a ton of Marines on the ground. He's killing so many probes here. A lot of lifts do come through here, though. Is it enough? That is the question.
Well, it should be enough to defend, but he's losing a lot. Not only the probes, but these gateway units he's lost as well. Cost him quite a bit. Phoenix has had to use a lot of lifts, which means they're not going to be as useful for harassment later.
14 kills.
That's a lot. And when the Terran player is ahead in Harvesters, it's not a good place to be as the Protoss. However, this is a big investment, a big trade. Look at the unit tab. He's got just very few Marines on the map. And Marines in small numbers against Phoenixes, they're going to get some nice lifts off. I mean, how many Phoenixes does he have, actually? He's got like 8 or so?
Yeah, about 8 or 9 there. I don't know where those SCVs are going in the middle of the map. Maybe just a miss rally there, but 3 SCVs out in the middle of the map. Not doing much, just
not doing
vacation.
diddly, as they say.
2 of them go down. Third one just barely surviving, maybe picked up here.
Yep. Like the Phoenix, the commander at the back is like, I don't even know if that was worth my energy. All right, let's see how much damage he gets done here. Stim is either done or about to finish. Okay, it's done. Doesn't want to do a big stim, though. Medevac's so important right now, too, because he's got so many Phoenixes out right now that if he miscontrols the Medevac for just a second. Yeah.
What is up with these guys today? Actually, both of them just mistakes with their mining.
Yeah, they're
5 guys in gas.
Town Hall rallies have been a bit off. So the problem with this composition for late game from MyuNgSiK is that it's a bit flimsy. If the Terran player can get a maxed out army, you have this many Phoenixes, your army supply, your gateway army suffers. And this is what I was talking about. The Medevacs, you got to be so careful with those. You can actually just camp the starport and ignore everything on the ground. Sorry, Medevacs, I think this is not your day.
The chase is on. A couple of Phoenixes do go down, but they're going to get both of those Medevacs.
I don't know if that was actually worth it. He lost a lot. It shuts down drops, you could argue, but there's not going to be any drops happening anyways against Phoenixes. 4 Phoenixes for 2 Medevacs. It's the comp he's relying on here.
Yeah.
This is the type of composition that if you're going to do this, you really need to make sure that the Terran is so down on economy that you could just keep ahead in army size. You can always have the overwhelming amount of Phoenix Colossus. You know, this really reminds me of, it was Zaka, German Protoss, was doing a lot of this stuff in the beta back in the day when, you know, we just saw a lot of Phoenix Colossus. We saw a lot of this in early Wings of Liberty as well, often off of 2 Stargate. And it's an old build. MyuNgSiK really likes his Phoenixes, but he's really struggling to keep them alive. You've got to be really careful about this.
Yeah. Usually when you go for this comp, your control needs to be perfect, like you've said time and time and again. MyuNgSiK is just not having that perfect control. He has sniped a couple of Medevacs for a bigger cost for himself. There's a pretty big Terran army right in front of him. He forced that Nexus cannon pretty early, TY did, and now he's got drops coming in here with Widow Mines.
This is going to be the last thing MyuNgSiK expects, too, because obviously he's like, well, he'll never drop me. I have Phoenixes. I have 9 of them. Did he see it? Okay, he sees it, but the drop will actually happen. I don't think he's expecting Widow Mines. Oh, they both get lifted.
Picks up, though. Yep. And the Medevac is going to go down here.
So dead. Deadest Medevac ever.
That's what you're saying. He would never expect that drop, and that's what he was going for there, the surprise. But in the end, it's not very good to drop against this many Phoenixes.
If he wanted to get that observer, if he could actually get a Widow Mine shot off on the Phoenixes, it does so much damage. He's going to actually pick this off if he grabs it. There he goes. I don't know if it's, I mean, minerals for minerals, a Widow Mine for a Phoenix is not a good trade for the Protoss, but it does help him advance a little bit safer. We see a turret ring start coming up here. TY is a player who's never afraid to do these turret rings to make sensor towers in all matchups. Few SCVs get sniped. Again, just not cost-efficient trades, but you know, with Phoenixes, sometimes this is just going to happen. The longer the game goes, he gets Vikings, he gets Stim Marines out, he's got turrets up. You kind of have to test the water. He's going to go into the main base now.
Yeah, and still only a couple of turrets in here. 1 in the production, 1 in the mineral line.
Yeah, he wants to snipe Vikings if he can. Medevacs, anything he can find. Maybe even an SCV building a turret. The army's supply here is basically dead even. This just becomes a matter of the Colossi hits. If the Colossi hits are really good on the Marines, because it's a Marine-heavy army, then this is going to go MyuNgSiK's way. If the Vikings get good zoning and he has enough Vikings and targets the Colossi down, Bio will shred this tiny gateway army and then just, I don't know, pop the Phoenixes like balloons. I mean, there are 15 Phoenixes, 9 Zealots on the ground. The Colossi are the core here. If he loses those, it's going to be tough to do with this many Phoenixes, but if he loses those, if they do go down, then the Gateway army is just so flimsy.
That is true. Marine comes out here to scout. Scouts a Zealot, kills it. Now an SCV coming out to scout. Just trying to see the view there on that ledge, not able to.
That's the Pride Rock ledge, this map. SC2 was learning the life story of the Circle of Life.
He's like, if you got on that ledge against Protoss, you're going to get swiped by some Colossi.
The Colossi eat the Marines, and life continues. Okay, a few SCVs coming with this too. Not sure about that.
The army right now for MyuNgSiK is actually very spread. Phoenix is going towards the north. The rest of the army going south.
He needs to get a he needs to get a grasp on this Terran army. This is a crazy engagement. I can't even believe he is doing this. He has so much confidence with his Phoenixes. He's walking his Colossi onto the high ground to harass depots. If Vikings found that, it would be a field day. He recalls now. Okay. Now he's going to lose this base. Had he recalled onto that base, he would have lost his entire army. That's too much Terran right there. If he recalled on there, the lag on that recall would have cost him several Colossi. And TY is starting to turret up. He's actually just going to turtle push across this map.
Actually. He's going to deny this third base. It's not going to be able to get up here. He's just going to keep denying it. He's going to have so many turrets for support here.
And Widow Mines. And guess what? These turrets have range. Range just finished. He's got high-sec auto-tracking on these turrets. He can even start, like, putting bunkers up.
He could?
He could actually even push with bunkers. Why not?
The one thing I know for certain is that base is not getting up.
He needs to take the other base. This is not the right choice anymore. I know he had the assimilators there, which is probably why he wanted to retake it. And also he didn't kill that debris yet, so he has to kill that too. Phoenixes are going to catch some reinforcements. I really like this. Utilize your tech.
Yeah, it's like Mutas coming in, killing off the
reinforcements.
reinforcements,
but he sees an opportunity! And the Colossi are just sitting ducks over here. Sees an opportunity, sees the Phoenixes are out of position.
Oh, no.
And I got to say,
MyuNgSiK
just fell apart like a house of cards.
There are no more Colossi here. He doesn't care about the Phoenix anymore. He can lift so many.
Though? Are there enough Phoenixes?
He's lifting like mad, but it's just so much bio still.
It's just, like I said, pop the Phoenixes like balloons. He's out of Marines, but the Phoenixes can't kill this army fast enough.
They're trying their hardest, but GG. TY takes it in 2. Makes it look easy. MyuNgSiK tries a couple different strats, but not quite able to work.
Late game, Phoenix Colossus ends up being weak if you can't take the perfect engagement. This is why we don't see this comp too much anymore. I don't know. Phoenix Colossus is... It's a build that was strong years ago. We've seen players try to bring it back. I'm trying to remember which Protoss did it in Pro League. We saw somebody try and fail in a similar fashion. It may have been MyuNgSiK himself.
Should have been MyuNgSiK, yeah.
It's a cool idea. It's conceptually really nice, but so much of your army supply is in these flimsy units that can only stop Vikings from killing your Colossi and then try to kill bio. It's like, can balloons kill needles? I'm like, no, probably not.
You would need a lot of balloons to kill needles, and even then, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But again, if you're going to go for that comp, you basically have to have perfect positioning. The second TY saw the Phoenixes go back, he knew the Colossi were alone. He immediately just flew his Vikings over, and it was just easy pickings.
Yeah. And that's the choice that MyuNgSiK make. I like the decision, but it's just, I mean, if you don't do that and the Terran army just gets turtled up at your base, you got to start doing something.
Yeah, it was a nice idea.
So, I mean, he tries to do that, but he leaves his Colossi a bit exposed and costs him that fight there. So, guys, before we go into our winner's match, we'll take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned.